carnivore is basically done right. It's like nose to tail. You're eating the meat of the animal. You are eating the organs of the animal. You're, grinding up the joints and you're, consuming those as well. It is a subset, if you will, of the ketogenic diet. You are having zero carbohydrates, none. All you're consuming is fat and protein. Now, in terms of autoimmunity, women that I have spoken to who have done carnivore have found this to be life-changing. And of course, they've done it against all advice that they've been given. And we see that their symptoms go into remission. Because once you actually have an autoimmune condition, you always will have it. Like the gene's been turned, like it's there. But what you can do is you are either having a flare-up or it's in remission. So a lot of women who have tried carnivore have noticed that their symptoms will improve drastically and they will go into remission. Now, the issue with it in terms of when we think about whether this is an evidence-based protocol over the long term, like short term, a therapeutic intervention like nutritional ketosis, which is what these women are going into with carnivore, seems to be very beneficial. And I have heard it enough times for me not to discount it. And I am not the type of doctor who's going to discount any woman's story. You tell me what's happening for you. You are a better doctor for your body than I ever could be. So there's that piece of it. The other, when I'm looking at what constitutes evidence-based practice, one obviously is the clinical experience that you have. The other thing is what's available in the literature. And then the third piece, if there's like a Venn diagram, is going to be the patient's goals and dreams. And taking those three things together is what constitutes evidence-based medicine and evidence-based protocols. So I always like to try to educate people who just are like, well, there's no PubMed study on it. Like it's like, you have absolutely, like, for you to be hanging on to PubMed like it's the be all and end all. And don't get me wrong, I go down rabbit holes on that website. Like it is like, whenever I go to Google and it's like a new tab, like the first little thing where it's like frequently, visited things, it's like PubMed's like the first. I love PubMed, but you also have to take into account clinical experience, which is often forgotten, and the patient's wishes. So with carnivore, right now, at the time of this recording, as far as I'm aware, there are no long-term studies on it. So, many women have talked about this being a game changer for them, for putting these symptoms into remission. There has been no good quality studies on it to date. I hope that will change. And maybe there is the other piece to that is that what we do actually have a lot of literature on is the efficacy and the benefits of consuming plants. So when we think about, okay, so she's on carnivore, she's saying she feels really, really good on it. Can we get her on carnivore? My thinking around this is the following. And this is like the application of information, which so many like online bullies have, like they're like, there's no PubMed and you have no clinical experience to be talking. So just sit down and stay in your lane. So, I just felt like I needed to say that. But for women with autoimmunity, we have this idea that if she's tried it and it's working for her, maybe we cycle it. Maybe we get her on carnivore. She stays there for a month or two. We are monitoring her blood work. And then as her intestinal permeability is improving, as the stagnation in her liver is improving and her ability to detoxify is improving, and as her symptoms get better, then we can start slowly introducing green leafy vegetables, that Kardashian, the brassica family that we were talking about. I don't know where I came up with that, but it's like, they're like the royal family. But anyway, so then we maybe start for a couple, again, like another cycle of a month or two where we're putting plants into her diet and seeing how she's responding, monitoring her blood, monitoring her hormonal status, etc. And then maybe there's a cycling that happens over many years. I mean, truthfully, I don't have the answer here. What I do know is that a lot of people say it works. We just don't know how long it's good for.